everybody's interest.
You're watching your hometown station, WNGM TV 34, Athens, Gainesville.
WNGM Television Sports proudly presents from Henry Feild Stadium, located on the beautiful campuses of the University of Georgia in Athens. The 1990 Volvo Tennis Collegiate Championships.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a very special event here on WNGM TV 34. We are at the finals of the Volvo Tennis Collegiate Championships, the first leg of the Collegiate Grand Slam of tennis. They've had a qualifying tournament all this week. They started the actual tournament just this past Thursday, and now we're down to the finals in singles and doubles. I'm Gary Glenn. Joining me for the commentary this evening on the singles match is Coach David Benjamin, the head of the Intercollegiate Tennis Coaches Association, the executive director of that body, as well as the varsity men's coach at Princeton University. David, glad to be with us.
Glad to be here, Gary.
These two people that we're going to be talking about in the singles finals here, Al Parker of Georgia and Jonathan Stark of Stanford, are no stranger to one another. In fact, they met in the finals of this very event a year ago.
That's right. They had a great match last year, and this is the first time we've had a repeat situation in a national college event, and it will be exciting to see what happens this year.
Indeed it will. We'll be back with that singles action right after we take these timeouts. You're listening to Collegiate Tennis here on WNGM TV 34.
Looking for a body shop that features quality workmanship and a welcome atmosphere. The Georgia Bulldog.
Hello, everybody. I'm Gary Glenn of TV 34. Right now I'm in the Butts-Meyer building, known to some as the Dog Mahal. Around us, the memorabilia of the greats of Georgia athletics. Well, this 1990 Georgia football team hopes to establish some records of Henry Feild Stadium on the campus of the University of Georgia. Gary Glenn, along with David Benjamin, we have for you this evening the finals of the Volvo Tennis Collegiate Championships in singles and doubles. First up, the singles matchup between Al Parker of Georgia, who is in the far court with the red headband on, and Jonathan Stark of Stanford from Medford, Oregon, here in the near court. As we said before, these two are no strangers to one another. After all of the qualifying tournament, the overall tournament began Thursday, a total of 230 people, and it's finally down to these final two, and they met here last year in the finals. Number 1 rated Stark. He is a sophomore from Stanford out of Medford, Oregon. Number 4 seed Al Parker of Georgia, a senior from Claxton, and he is rated number 5 in the country, seeded number 4 in this tournament. It is a rematch of last year, which Parker won 6-3, 7-6. and 7-3 in the tiebreaker. And David, out of over 200 players, it's kind of funny that it should come down to these two once again.
Well, I think it's a tribute to how good they both are as competitors. As you know, each player had injuries and didn't play much over the summer, but they're clearly the cream of the crop, and they've each been playing better every round in this tournament.
In fact, I've got some press notes here that says that this could be the boys of stress-induced summer slumber. They took the entire summer off from injuries that hindered them last spring. Stark recovering from a stress fracture in his left foot. Parker taking some time off to recover from a stress fracture in his left shin, along with the rotator cuff injury, and apparently the rest did them pretty good because they're down here and they're playing awfully well.
Well, actually, I think over the week, Al Park has been very sharp throughout the tournament, and John Stark's been improving and getting sharper with each match. So it should be an exciting match today as they're both finding their top form.
In the first round, John Stark of Stanford knocked off Ryan Jones of North Carolina. Then came Chris Ensel of Utah. After that, he knocked off David Cass of Michigan and David DeLucia of Notre Dame. Now, in the opening round for Al Parker of Georgia, he beat Ricardo Herrera of San Diego State, and then came Marcus Garza of Fresno State. After that, he knocked off Jared Palmer of Stanford, which, by the way, is John Stark's doubles partner, and we'll be seeing them later on in the doubles action. And then in the semifinal match, he beat Johan Milbrink of LSU. And so these players have had some pretty tough matches over the last couple of days, and a couple of straight setters, to be frank. But now it's Parker and Stark for all the marbles. Their players are finishing their warm-ups. We'll be underway here shortly. David, the Volvo Tennis Collegiate Championships is something that has grown now over the past 11 or 12 years. I believe you guys are in your dozenth year here.
That's right. We began back in 1979 at UCLA, and kept the event at UCLA until 3 years ago when we brought it down here to the University of Georgia. And it started out as simply a singles tournament with 32 players, no qualifying event. And over the years, it's grown to a gigantic event with singles and doubles in the main draw, and as you mentioned, over 200 qualifiers from all over the country trying to get into the main draw.
David Benjamin is the varsity men's coach at Princeton University and the executive director of ITCO, or the Intercollegiate Tennis Coaches Association. He'll be my partner for the singles championship here. Later on, we'll be joined by Scott Storch for the doubles finals. And, of course, John Stark here has a chance to do something which nobody has ever done before. In fact, nobody that's played in the singles and doubles, I believe, David, has ever won either of those events.
That's correct. There were several players that had the chance to do that, including Ricky Leach, who, as we know, is one of the best players in the world in doubles now, and he lost in 2 finals in the Volvo Championship, singles and doubles, and David Whedon also lost in the singles finals, and the doubles was rained out about 3 or 4 years ago, but no one's ever been able to pull it off, and I think John Stark has a good chance today.
We have a marvelous day for it. We have a lot of high clouds, a lot of blue sky, and very warm temperatures here in Athens, Georgia. Glad to have you with us wherever you're seeing us on WNGM TV 34. We know we get out to places. Sometimes, David, we're surprised at the calls we get. We didn't realize we got out that far. We get calls from South Carolina, things like that.
Great.
So we're going to be able to bring you some of the best tennis in the country right here, and of course some of the best players in the country. Once again, these folks are rated #1 as far as Stark from Stanford is concerned. He is the player in the near court. And the #4 seed, Al Park of Georgia, is rated #5 in the country, but probably the winner of this match right here. David could take a big jump. Well, of course, if Stark wins, he'll stay #1, but if Parker were to win, he might rank #1.
Yes, we have an elaborate ranking system that's computerized and that's sponsored by Volvo, and this tournament has tremendous importance, just as on the pro scene, if you win Wimbledon or the U.S. Open, you have a lot of points. So no question about it, the winner of this tournament will be the #1 ranked player in the next Volvo Tennis Collegiate rankings.
Well, we're just a few moments away from starting all of the action here from the University of Georgia. Parker of Georgia against Stark of Stanford. We'll be back with that right after we take these timeouts.
Sandbox.
Well, it's one of the simplest but the most effective teaching tools I've ever seen. It makes it come so much more alive than when you're looking at a black and white history book.
At the University of Georgia, great teachers open the minds of great students.
Georgia, Al Parker of Georgia will be serving to Jonathan Stark of Stanford. Parker, the defending champion. And it is out. So Stark has a love 15 lead very early here in the match. Lob was just a little bit long, dude. all. First serve was long, second serve. Double fall.
Gary, I think one of the keys is going to be how well Al Parker serves. Last year in the finals, he served extremely well, and he's been serving well all tournament. And I think that double fault was partly that he knows he has to serve well right now. He's a little nervous.
Al Parker behind in the early going here. Pretty good crowd for a Sunday afternoon competing with all that football, David.
Well, we've had good crowds all week, and it doesn't hurt that we have a Georgia boy in the finals.
Absolutely not. Stark comes to the net, but he didn't have to.
Right. Well, John Stark's a very aggressive player, and he has a big serve, as big a serve as any of the best pros in the world. Outstanding volleyer, and he's going to want to attack as much as possible. That's why I mentioned that Al has to really get his serve in and keep Jonathan a little in defensive. If he plays tentative as he did that game, I think John's going to be all over the net, and it's going to be hard for Al to hold his own. So I'm sure Al Parker's not too happy with the way he started the match, but it's very early and it could change very quickly.
Well, Parker's already down to service break, so we'll wait and see how that goes. Of course, the coaches for both of these young men are very, very knowledgeable in their own right. Manuel Diaz of Georgia, former great All-American player here at the University of Georgia and competitor on the pro circuit. Dick Gould of Stanford, whose teams have won more NCAA team titles now, I guess, than anybody particularly since they put that team format in several years back.
That's right. Dick Gould was elected by the ITCA the Wilson Coach of the Decade last year. I believe he's won 3 times more team titles than any other coach.
It'll be Stark serving to Parker. Parker in the near court, Stark in the far court. Parker, the young man from Georgia, has the red headband on. Fault. Second serve.
I think John wasn't too happy with flagging that shot. It probably was going out if he hadn't touched it.
Well, there's a home run ball for you.
Yeah, he has a big serve. It's probably his first serve is probably going about 115 miles an hour.
Really?
And it's going to take Al a little time to get used to it and get the timing down on it.
Parker already down a service break. That one was long. Second serve. And I believe that one was long as well.
Yeah, double fault.
So both men with a double fault early on. They might just be a little tight, David.
I
both
think
look
so.
a little nervous.
I think so. They both want to win this match very badly, and they know they're up against a great competitor.
Wrong court. He just missed that one, didn't he?
Al has a very big backswing on his forehand, so when his time is a little off, he's going to frame some balls. And when it's on, it's a great shot.
Jonathan Stark of Stanford, a sophomore out of Oregon. Rated #1 in the country in the collegiate ranks. And he and his doubles partner rated #1 in doubles. You know, he's playing some pretty good tennis. That was an ace.
Yeah.
.40-30. Game point. Good return. Well, you can tell the home crowd's behind Al Parker. And we've gone to deuce. Good placement of the serve that time by Jonathan Stark.
Yeah, he moves the serve well, and I think you're going to see that he's going to be concentrating on Al's forehand. He's going to try to keep the ball in Al's forehand when he serves.
Advantage Stark. And he knew he had missed that one when he hit it.
Right.
More back to deuce. Advantage Parker. Stark tried the same strategy he did when he won the point just a little while ago, David, but that time Al Parker was able to get to the ball.
Yeah, I think you'll see as the games go on, Al's going to read the serve better and better.
Second serve. Well, how about that?
Yeah. That's Al's bread and butter shot, that backhand passing shot. And he was looking for it, and he hit it cleanly right down the line.
And he's broken back. Games are now 1-all first set. Neither man able to hold serve so far. That was long.
You see how close John stood in on the second serve, trying to get into the net right on the second serve. And he didn't do it that time, but it puts a lot of pressure on Al.
Parker up 15 low. That one kicked a little long. Second serve.
Once again, Stark's looking to attack all the time. He's missing right now, but it's constant pressure psychologically on the other player, knowing that he's coming at you all the time.
Very aggressive player, Jonathan Stark, as you might expect from the #1 rated collegiate player in the country. 30 love, Parker right now.
That might have been his first serve that he got in. First serve he got in.
He's trying to rely on his serve, as you said, David. So he's going for the ace of the unreturnable serve. .40-15. Nice volley.
That's a great shot. He caught Al going the wrong way. Al expected a cross-court backhand and was tricked.
John Stark trying to rally a little bit here. A little long. Second serve. And that was good. He sort of painted that back line with that one, but a nice lob. John Stark just couldn't get to it.
Well, I really think John thought it was going to go out, and he had Al got a little topspin on it and brought it in right on the line.
So Parker holds serve here and goes up 2-1, first set. We'll be back. As Gainesville College begins its second quarter-century of service, it continues to expand in enrollment, degree programs, and innovative offerings to provide quality education at the lowest cost to the people of Northeast Georgia. Gainesville College offers college transfer programs in more than 20 fields and career programs in 50 areas. As the only 2-year unit of the University System of Georgia northeast of Atlanta, Gainesville College offers a wide range of programs for its diverse student body. Financial aid opportunities are available. Call the college today at 404-535-6241 for information or an application.
Hi, and ho, ho, ho. I'm Santa Fred Moses. Christmas is just around the corner, and I've been thinking about what I can do for my customers and friends at Christmas. Well, I'm going to help you retire. To register for a brand new set of tires, just send your name, address, and telephone number to Tires, Channel 34, or come and see me. I'm at Oakwood Chevron, exit 4 off of Highway 985. Ho, 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 and maybe...
Tennis Collegiate Championships, John Stark, Stanford, Al Parker of Georgia. Parker leads 2-1 first set, but the players are on service. Stark to serve to try to draw the games even to 2-all. Neither man held service their first time up. Then Parker just held. Nice shot. Moved him around perfectly that time, David. Just couldn't get to it.
Stark's a great volleyer. He does just the right thing each time. He took a short swing, put it right in the corner, and then an easy overhit put away.
Gary Glenn, David Benjamin, coming to you from Henry Feild Stadium, the campus of the University of Georgia. Well, you can say that Al Parker's got his lob working pretty good today.
Well, you know, with someone as aggressive as Stark, who's going to be all over the net, it's a very wise move to go over his head. And that's going to make John move a little further back, and then he can pass a little easier.
15-all.
You see how good Al's anticipation was. He was right there on the spot and surprised John.
But I'll tell you, John Stark wishes he had that shot back. Parker won this championship over Stark last year. In straight sets, as a matter of fact, although the second set was a tiebreaker.
Well, of course, last year Al was seated ahead of John Stark and was a junior and a semifinalist from the NCAA, so he had experience on his side. Now it's a little different. John's seated higher than Al, and it's a little different psychologically this year than last year.
That's about the third moon ball Al Parker's hit. And this barely missed with that one. Second serve. Double faults. His second double fault of the match.
Yeah.
And that one happened at a bad time.
Yeah, his timing's a little off on his serve right now, and that toss was too low, and he just didn't really get the extension he needed. Now there's a lot of pressure on him.
In fact, Parker of Georgia can now go up 4-1 in games this first set if he holds service. He leads 3-1 now. That one was long. This will be the second serve. And that one was also long. So both men now each have two double faults to their credit, or to their dismay, this afternoon. Perfect weather, though, David. This is really nice. Humidity's down. The temperature's really nice.
See, that's a new Al Parker. 2 years ago, he never would have come up on that shot and put the ball away, but he has a lot more confidence at the net, and that makes him much more effective.
And a little more dangerous, too, if you're John Stark.
It's a whole new dimension, Al Parker, the net rusher.
Parker before the home crowd trying to go up 4-1 in the first set. Second serve. That was a let. Just nicked the net. shot. And a really good get to dig that one out.
Yeah, great court coverage. Again, it's his anticipation. He was running for that angle shot before Jonathan ever hit it. It's points like that to take the heart out of your opponent.
Really.
Al's trying to get his breath back right now, I think.
Stark.
Walking around.
And Stark thought he had a sure winner that time, and then Parker just reached great extension and dug it out. Second serve. Al kind of looked at that one. Glad to have you with us here on TV 34 special event. Nope. Although a lot of hustle by Parker just to get to it, just to lay a racket on that ball.
He never gives up on any shot, which is great, and keeps a lot of pressure on his opponent.
This has been a long, tough game here. Both these players are in shape. You got to be after having played a tournament like they just played to get to the finals of this thing.
That's right. Of course, they've also been playing doubles, so that makes it that much more. On the pro scene, often players just play singles.
Really becomes a marathon, doesn't it?
That's
It
right.
really does.
It's a
Ooh,
great serve.
good serve. Ace.
I think that's his first ace, isn't it?
I think so, yes. 40-30. Very, very big point here. I believe Stark has an ace, and I think that's Parker's first. We'll check the stats maybe at the end of the first set. Well, he didn't want a double fault there. It's gone to deuce now. He started this game like he was just going to really blow through it, but you have to credit John Stark. That's a let. Stark to the net. It was in. An advantage Stark now.
Yeah, it's a great forehand volley. Right on the line.
Al Parker of Georgia is serving to John Stark of Stanford, but it's the advantage to Mr. Stark now. And we're back to deuce. Yes.
Well, both players are still trying to get their rhythm going. I'd say they're both kind of in second, third gear, and whoever can get into fourth gear first. Even though Al's ahead, it's been a close match.
Back at deuce.
I was wrong. I'm the line.
That might be the bump he needs, David, to get him out of this.
I think you're right. And once again, he's taking the offensive. He's coming up to the net, which is definitely surprising John Stark.
And he wishes he had that shot back. Now we're back at deuce again. Long, tough game. I think I said that about 10 minutes
That's
ago,
right.
didn't
That was the wide serve I was expecting to play before. Well, you know, 2 years ago, Gary, we wouldn't have had a long game like this with no ad scoring, but now we're back to regular, so you can have a game last an hour if they keep going.
That's right. I would imagine there are a number of reasons why they decided to do that, David. We might elaborate on it a little bit later on.
Sure.
Yeah, the no ad scoring the sudden death, 3 all points. I remember those well from covering the NCAAs.
That's right. That's great for him. Well, it was a very controversial issue, and we spent many years discussing it before we decided to go back to regular scoring. We had played no ad scoring for about 16, 17 years in college tennis.
Is it just for continuity's sake, for a lot of the reasons? Or? Get to that after this point.
Wow, great shot.
And a great volley.
Yeah.
He had Stark all the way turned around.
I think a lot of the coaches have felt that it's difficult for the players to play regular scoring the juniors and on the pro scene and then no ad in college, and the players themselves weren't comfortable with it. And with time, we just decided it was a better training program to stay with regular scoring.
Advantage is back to Al Parker of Georgia.
Wow.
Just can't get past him at the net.
Stark has not only a great technique in his volleys, but he has an uncanny sense of where to be at the net. And there, Al could have gone down a lot of cross court, but John outguessed him and was waiting right in the right place for that cross court backhand.
We're back to deuce. I've said that a lot this game. Wow, what a shot. Well, you really wouldn't expect much less from 2 of the best players in the country, but even so, when you see it, it's still something to see.
It's fun tennis, and again, Al shows that ability to make that extra effort each time when it looks like the point's over. He reversed direction and hit it down the line, and I'm sure John Stark's wondering what he has to do to win a point right now.
Al going over to Manuel Diaz, drying off his racket a little bit. I would imagine they're putting out a pretty good bit. Although I said it was a nice day out here. When you're out there running around like these guys are doing, you're still going to start sweating a little bit.
That's right. That's a good
That's
serve.
it. And that's the way to win it.
Well, I think, Gary, he began the game with an ace and ended the game with an ace.
And he goes up 4-1 in the first set. The momentum has gone to Parker of Georgia. We'll be back. Butts Mayer building, known to some as the Dog Mahal. Around us, the memorabilia of the greats of Georgia athletics. Well, this 1990 Georgia football team hopes to establish some records of its own, and we'll be there to talk to the players and the coaches about the 1990 season every week on Dog Tales. Watch us right here on TV 34.
Be sure and tune in for Dog Tales, brought to you by Classic City Homes and Duplicating Systems of Athens.
You're watching your hometown station, WNGM TV 34, Athens, Gainesville.
We're back. Al Parker of Georgia leads 4-1. David, I believe he did change his grip while we were away in the break.
That's what John has to do more of. He has to get the first serve in and a clean volley and win some easy points, not struggle for every point.
15 love. Long, long game this last game. Parker of Georgia won it with an ace. Stark to serve. Second serve. All.
It's a tough return. Kept it really low at his feet.
How much of an advantage is it for Al Parker to be playing here, not only in front of his home fans, David, but on his home courts where he's used to the way the ball bounces?
I think it's a big advantage, and particularly someone like Al, who not only has played college tennis here, but grew up here. It gives him a lot more confidence.
That one just barely nicked the tape there. So that's a let. 15 all. 4-1 in games, first set. Georgia over Stanford. Parker leading Stark. Another let. I didn't even hear that one, David. That really must have been a light one.
Yeah, it just touched the net. Once again, John's still struggling with his serve. He's not getting his rhythm.
Well, now that's a fault. Gary Glenn, David Benjamin, coming to you from Henry Feild Stadium, a marvelous tennis facility on the campus of the University of Georgia. 30-15. Although Parker is up 4-1, so far it's been a tough 4-1.
That's another let, I believe.
A couple of balls from this side are going to have to be tossed back over to Jonathan Stark. He's taking his time a little bit, trying to maybe find that rhythm to his serve you're talking about, David. That was long and wide.
It's a great return.
It really was. Perfect placement of the shot.
Yeah, as I said earlier, it was a question of Al getting the timing down on that forehand return, and now I think he's reading it very well.
And this would be big here. If he can break him again, he would have a chance to serve out the set.
It was a smart idea. He had won several points on the lob and just didn't get it quite deep enough this time.
Well, these guys are pretty big, aren't they? They're tall.
Yeah,
about 6'2", 6'3"?
About 6'2", 6'3". Obviously, Stark's a little heavier, a little more muscular.
You see some of that power when he falls.
Yeah.
Ned just sort of jumps. I remember seeing when Roscoe Tanner, 1972 here, did that. That was long, double fault. So we've gone to deuce.
When you clock a serve and a serve is at a certain speed, that's one way to measure, but another way to measure is how heavy the serve is. And John Stark has a heavy serve. It really pushes you back. It's like a body punch.
We're at deuce. Second serve. Just missing with that one.
That was long.
And he missed it again. And you can hear Stark frustrated at himself.
Yeah, he's not happy with the way he's serving. And sometimes you have to get a little mad at yourself, and that helps you focus better.
Stark just yelled, "Oh, come on." Advantage is now Al Parker's, and I mean advantage in more ways than one right now. Good serve that time. That was that power you were talking about.
That's right. It's a great shot.
It was. Parker very content that time just to sit at the baseline and just sort of slug it out.
That's Al's game. I mean, if Jonathan's going to let him, just hit ball after ball, he's not going to win the match.
5-1.
But those double faults killed him. I mean, normally John Stark's going to win 2 easy points a game with aces. Instead, he's giving away easy points on his serve. And he has to tighten up his game very quickly now.
And Parker, on that great shot, takes a 5-1 advantage in games in the first set. It's a chance to serve for the set here. Guessed wrong that time, didn't he?
Yeah, well, he did well to get the other shot back.
And had his body going the other way, really couldn't recover.
I think you're going to see John Stark just airing some balls right now and just going, trying to get the set over with almost. And if he gets lucky and breaks, fine, but just try to get his concentration back.
This is the best of 3 sets, by the way. That one was just a little bit long there, second serve. Parker uncorked a pretty good one that time. That one was long, too.
Al's been serving outstandingly all tournament, and today he really hasn't served that well. As we said, maybe 2 aces, but he's hit some double faults, and it's only by contrast with Stark that his serve looks pretty good right now. That was a good serve.
15-30.
That time he got his body more into the court and really unleashed it. It's another big serve.
And that ties it at 30 all. Well, he's got it going now.
Yeah, he has his rhythm.
Set point.
He was going for it.
Yeah. Might as well, right? Game and first set to Al Parker of Georgia. 6-1. We'll be back. Welcome back to our coverage of the Volvo Tennis Collegiate Championships. Al Parker of Georgia, Jonathan Stark of Stanford, the same 2 folks that were here doing this last year. And Parker won it in straight sets, and he's just won the first set here in 1990, 6-1. Stark is in the near court, Parker in the far court. Al Parker is a senior, John Stark's a sophomore. Stark trying to battle back, get into this match. First set took about 50 minutes to play. Give or take a minute or 2.
That's a great return.
It was a rocket serve and a rocket return.
Al's really beginning to read the ball well, and read the serve well, and step in and catching it very early.
We will have the doubles finals up after this particular match, and we will see John Stark back in doubles. He and his partner are the #1 rated doubles team in college in the country. Second serve. Today they will be going against Brian Getko and David Lomicki. Arizona State.
Well, he's still double faulting, and he just can't give that many free points to Al and hope to win the match.
He was really disgusted with that last one, too.
Yeah.
He just took a little empty swing at the air there, and he's just trying to do things to settle himself down, and so far it's just been all Al Parker.
Well, John's a great competitor, and he's also fairly notorious as a slow starter, so the first 2 matches in the tournament, he lost the first set and almost lost the match, so he still can pull himself together here.
Brian Jones of North Carolina took Jonathan Stark to 3 sets in the first round here.
Yeah, and the second set was a breaker. He came within a point or 2 of losing it. And I think the second match, he also lost the first set and won the second in a breaker.
(6-3, 3-6, 6-2) over Brian Jones of North Carolina, then against Insel of Utah, Chris Insel, it was 3-6, 7-6, 6-2. He's battling Al Parker of Georgia here.
Well, right now he's very frustrated.
He can't believe it. He can't believe his own play right now.
Yeah.
He's just been double faulting away key points, and they've come to David at crucial points. So he's lost his serve here in the opening game of the second set. We're looking at the stats from the first set here. Anything really jump out at you?
Well, the first serves, and Parker got 24 first serves in the first set. Stark only got 12. And again, when you match these 2 players up, Stark should be dominating on the service side, and he's only getting half as many serves in first serves as Al is.
And you also see twice as many unforced errors on the part of Jonathan Stark, 6-3.
Yeah.
Al Parker trying to take a 2-0 lead in the second set in games. He already has won the first set 6-1. Scott Storch will be going courtside after the singles final, talking to some of the folks down there. And then after that, the doubles final. Parker had almost 69% of his first serves in that first set, too, to 54.5 for Stark.
Once again, if they get into a situation where they're both backcourt hitting balls at each other, Al Parker's going to win 70-80% of those points. John Stark has to get up to the net.
Fault, although it nicked the net, kicked out wide. You see the way that Stark returned that ball to him, and you just see the frustration in that. That was a good serve. Yeah. Stark returned it.
Once again, Al played a perfect point, drew him wide, then hit the volley right on the other side of the court, and then the next volley. Al Parker's playing the type of tennis style-wise that normally Stark plays.
40 low.
He's making it look easy.
Yeah.
Another big serve.
Stark just sort of ducked and let that one pass by over his head.
Well, not only is Al's percentage so over 70%, but I believe that from the second part of the first set on, the percentage was well over 80%. He really... There's another unreturnable serve. I would bet that the last 4 service games, his service percentage has been close to 90% on the first serve, which is extraordinary. It's really raised his game. I think that 3-1 game, from that point on, there's been no stopping him.
And Parker goes up 2-0 here in the second set after having won the first set 6-1. He's rolling.
Dick Gould ran out on the court. In college tennis, coaching is permitted throughout the match as long as it doesn't interfere with play, and Dick took advantage of that to try to encourage him and calm him down a little. It's a good serve. Gary, I don't think it's an exaggeration to say this is the match, this game right here. I think if John can't hold serve here, he'll never, I don't think, be able to come back. If he can hold serve, it'll be still a contest.
Umpire Bill Goodrich has not changed the second set up yet, but Parker is up 2-0. Second serve. Little give and take at the net there.
Little cat and mouse, yeah. Al's won the last couple of those, but this time Jonathan guessed right.
Just out of Parker's reach. He's tall, but he's not that tall. Missed with that one, and he really wanted it too. Yelling at himself again.
That's a great return. You see how close on the second serve Al's getting now. He was 3 feet inside the baseline, and he's able to do that because John's not really challenging him on that serve.
Although in that last second serve, it didn't look like he took as much off of that maybe as he would normally do. He's really trying to do anything to get himself back into the match here.
Yeah.
He's decided it's time to gamble maybe a little bit.
Mm-hmm. That was a good deep second serve.
40-15. Stark just trying to come here and win this game. Get himself back into it. But he just keeps missing. It's either long or it's in the net. They throw that first serve. Well, I don't know about that. That seemed he could have got to the ball, but maybe he just got off a little off balance there.
Well, once again, Al's taking it early and putting a lot of pressure on that return.
He's trying to battle back and win this game. Parker of Georgia. But Stark says, I won a game. A little irony in that particular arm raising there.
Well, he's a very good competitor, and he's digging deep right now, trying to find some way to get back into this.
Costa with the Special Olympics, please report to the picnic area. Thank you.
Al Parker of Georgia will be serving when we come back. He leads 6-1 after the first set and 2-1 in the second. We'll return. Welcome back. Al Parker of Georgia trying to win his second straight Volvo Tennis Collegiate Championships here. He beat this man last year.
And I believe, Gary, if he can do it, he'll be the first player in college history to win 2 straight Volvo championships.
And he is right now in control of this match.
Whoa. I think it just skimmed the net cord, and Al didn't expect it to take that strange bounce.
He might have skimmed his racket, too.
No.
Yes, if Parker wins, he will be the first player to ever win this title twice. He leads 6-1, 2-1 right now, serving for a 3-1 lead.
Yes.
It was in.
Right on the line.
15-30, I believe that makes it. The umpire's saying, "Did you call it good?" And he says, "Yes, I did." Just a little long.
Well, that was a big point, and
Yeah.
Stark was looking to attack again, but just was a little overeager. He took the ball too early.
Pulled it wide. Nope. Missed pretty good with that one. It was wide.
And I think Starks realized he has to get up there. You know, for a while he tried to stay back and get his timing on it, but he has to challenge him.
30-40. Stark trying to break back. Even these games are 2-all here in the second set. Parker of Georgia won the first set 6-1. A long first set, though, for that kind of score.
Oh, every game was long.
And he breaks him. Games are now 2-all, and we're back on serve. Stark's got that left hand bandaged. David, do you know? Has he got some tendonitis, something bothering him a little bit?
Yeah, it's. I don't think it's handicapping his play, but he keeps it tightly bandaged, and has his wrist been bothering him a bit.
Both these players are right-handed players, by the way. Stark misses with that one. Jonathan Stark of Stanford, the #1 rated player in collegiate tennis, is in the near court. He's a sophomore out in Palo Alto.
Then he kept it at his feet, a good return. What Al has to be careful about is not getting lulled to a false sense of security out there. He was winning so easily. And John's raising his game, and Al has to stay tough mentally.
Stark has really shown a little bit more composure in the second set to come back and tie it 2-all. That was long. Well, we don't want to give the false impression either, David, that it was totally just Jonathan Stark being rattled and off his game in the first set, and that would take away from some really fine play by Al Parker.
Al's playing outstanding tennis, but when you play that well and you're almost in a zone and the other person is getting so discouraged, sometimes you end up relaxing a little too much. And but Al's too smart to let that happen, I think. Already he's pulled back in this game.
This would be a big game for him to win here.
Right on the line.
Yeah, and Parker looked at it and hesitated just that fraction of a second too long before he realized it was going to be good.
Yeah.
But he was looking right straight down at it and did not hesitate to make the call that it was indeed in.
That's a great shot.
And Stark had moved him around pretty well.
That's right.
And Parker still got to it.
John did play classic tennis, moved the ball deep, and left only a couple inches. And those couple inches, Al threaded those inches.
A break point here, I believe.
Oh, that's a great serve.
Yeah, but the break is not going to come on that one. However, that just pulls it to 30-40. It was in, and that one's out.
Lob. Al's used that lob really well, and that was a very smart shot.
And a very key break for Al Parker, who goes up 3-2 in games here in the second set after already having won the first set. We'll be back. Trying to knock off the #1 player in college tennis, and so far is doing a pretty good job of it. 6-1, he took the first set. He leads 3-2, serving for a 4-2 lead here in the second set.
Once again, he got his first serve in, and that percentage is key for Al. Get that first serve in.
Gary Glenn along with David Benjamin.
That's a tough shot.
Yeah, right down the line. Passed him well.
He didn't put quite enough pressure on him coming up there, you know, and Jonathan was able to step in and hit him for him right down the line. That's his third straight first serve in this game, and he's actually taken a little off the first serve. You know, Karen, I think he's trying to make sure that he gets that first one in. If he gets ahead, maybe then he'll air one out.
That was long. Second serve. Can't hit it twice. 40-15.
I think you'll see a big first serve at this point.
This would put him up 4-2 if he can kick one in, either an ace or a non-returnable serve. He'd love to do that with one stroke. And he did.
Was, yeah.
Al Parker playing some absolutely marvelous tennis here on his home court in front of his home crowd. He won this tournament last year, and he's trying to become the first player ever to win this title twice, and will likely take over the #1 ranking if he does so. Well, we saw #1 in football get knocked off yesterday, didn't we, David? We just might see #1 in tennis get knocked off here today. That was out. Very close, but well, Parker didn't hesitate to make the call, and Stark didn't argue.
No, they're both great sportsmen and have reputations of making perfect calls. And if there was any doubt, Al would have called it good.
By the way, you know, Al Parker also, David, has a 4.0 GPA.
That's right.
He's a smart player as well, is he not?
Well, we're very proud of the academic level of all of our players. I think the Division I players average 3.0 averages, but Al's extraordinary.
And a senior. Let's not forget that. That's right. A 4.0 GPA over 4 years.
That's right. I think he was the GT All-American every year, academic All-American. he's also become that rarity of a fourth-year all-star college player. He stayed in school all 4 years.
Boy, isn't that true? I remember when McEnroe, another great player from Stanford, won this tournament as a freshman. That was it.
78, that's right.
I shouldn't say this tournament. The NCAA's on these
Right
courts.
here, right on the same court. I remember that against Sadri.
Yes, sir. And on a marathon match. It took forever to play, even with a tiebreaker score.
That's right. 4 hours, I believe. That's a great return again.
Yes. Well, you can definitely say Al Parker is at the top of his game today.
Yeah. And really, he's played this level the whole tournament. He's just been razor sharp. And I think this could be Al Parker's year in college tennis. He's had a lot of injuries, but if he can stay healthy this year.
Stark has just had himself a mountain to climb almost every game, has he not, David? He's been down. He's been scrambling just to pull even.
That's right.
Just can't do that against a player of the caliber of Parker. Takes too much out of you. That marathon game in the first set, just forever. That could have been the turning point in the whole match.
Yeah, that's right, that 3-1 game. And here you did another double fault, which has just been plaguing him, the double faults.
Well, it could just about be all over but the crying if Parker goes on to break him here.
I think you're right, Gary. This is it. He has to hold serve here, or it's down a couple of breaks. And the way Al's been playing, it's be almost impossible.
Second set has been much quicker than the first, even though the first set went 6-1.
In fact, I'd say that one game at 3-1 in the first set, it was longer, that one game, than the whole second set.
Almost. We've been going about 25 minutes here in the second set.
That's a great shot.
Yeah. Well, one thing you could say, too, John Stark's credit, he refuses to roll over and die. He's been battling. He just has, again, had to climb out of so many holes.
Well, he's been in a lot of big events where things change fast. And he knows it's not over yet.
I understand Georgia Athletic Director Vince Dooley is in the crowd.
Yes, he'll be giving the trophies out.
Vince is a big tennis fan. He's put in a number of appearances over the years here at the NCAA's.
Well, Al's a little annoyed with himself. I think he had 2 chances here to...
Yeah. And Stark has pulled back to deuce.
And Jonathan's such a dangerous player that you don't want to let him get back into it.
You know, we saw in one of the consolation matches, one of the men came from behind 5-0 in the third and won it.
That's right.
Who was that? That was Doug Livingston of Arizona.
Yeah.
Won the consolation singles.
Not only that, he was under the weather the whole match.
And slammed into the fence.
Yeah. Shows determination.
I tell you.
Yes.
Now, that's a great passing shot there. Well, the umpire says advantage Parker. He's not just talking about this particular game in the larger scheme of things here, David. He's talking about the advantage has been Al Parker's pretty much from the get-go. 6-1, 4-2, Parker leads now. And he holds the advantage in this game to go up 5-2 in the second set. Well, the power is there, but he's just not zeroed in on it.
Yeah, his percentage has really been low on the first serve and lots of double faults, and that's hurt him. Wow.
That was right on the line.
There. Yeah.
And we're back to deuce.
That was an absolutely all or nothing serve.
Boy, wasn't it? That was right on the line. But again, Parker did not question it. So we're back at deuce at 4-2 in games in the second set. Parker body style at least reminds you of another Al who used to play here at Georgia, Alan Miller.
Well, because Al was lefty and was a little cuter than, you know, all these great angle shots.
Whoops.
He got caught wrong-footed.
Yeah.
Al Miller we used to call the wizard because you never knew where he'd hit the ball, and particularly in doubles, he was extraordinary.
Of course, he won the NCAA doubles title along with his partner, Ola Malmquist.
That's right. And he and Michael Primfors were a pretty good team also.
I thought I saw Miller here in the stands.
Yeah, he's here today.
Yeah. Thought that was him. Been a while since I've seen him. Stark trying to battle and win this game.
That was a double fall.
Almost a double fall. Well, you're not going to win them like that.
Nope.
Back to deuce. Another one of these long games, David. Lengthen this second set out a little bit.
You know, I think some of it is the long layover that John had this summer. Of course, Al did also, but Al's come back faster, and he's just not really as match sharp as he has to be.
Both players taking some time off this past summer to recover from injuries and stress fractures, and in the case of Parker of Georgia, rotator cuff, bad rotator cuff.
Well, the way he's serving, it certainly seems like he's had a full recovery.
Well, that's a tough injury to get back from. The pitcher's really had a bad time with that. And of course, you can understand it's almost throwing an overhand fastball and serving.
It's exactly the same.
Exactly the same thing, yeah.
Oh,
boy.
Had it set up completely. Now, we have a player on our Princeton men's team right now that has a problem with the rotator cuff, and he's taking 8 months off. And
there's Coach Dooley.
It's a frustrating injury, the rotator cuff injury.
Very painful, too. Wow. They're almost playing ping pong here, weren't they?
That's right.
Back to deuce. Well, both of these men now are just reaching down and gutting out this game.
It's a little like that 3-1 game in the first set.
Well, this one is obviously vital for Jonathan Stark.
That's a great serve.
That's the one he's been missing with.
I'm sure he's thinking, why can't I do that more often?
Yeah, that time he got it in a big way. Advantage, Mr. Stark. That time he missed it.
He held.
Yes, he did, finally. And they'll change sides. And Al Parker will serve for a 5-3 lead here in the second set. We'll take a timeout, come back. We are back. Al Parker of Georgia trying to defend his title here in the Volvo Tennis Collegiate Championships.
Wow.
That one
making his move.
Yeah, no, that was quick, too. It showed some quickness. You wouldn't think that these guys have already played almost 2 sets. They look pretty fresh and pretty quick that time. He is attacking. Love 30.
It's the first couple of times I've seen him really attack on Al's serve, and that's what he has to do.
Parker won the first set 6-1. He's ahead 4-3 in the second. But he's down love 30 this one. Call that one long. And Al just said what? And that's all he said. Didn't question it very long, did he?
Yeah, he was hoping it was good.
Double fault. Well, love 40. Now this could really change the complexion of things.
That's right.
And had some momentum swings here.
Wow.
He might have played a ball that was very close on the other side, but
I think he just bisected that line.
in any event, he played it. And it's 4-all now.
Yeah.
That really changes things around a good bit. And they're back on serve. You have to credit John Stark with battling and battling and battling through all those deuces and ads in that last game to bring it back up to this.
And he's hung in there when his game wasn't clicking. Now he's right back in there. Still having trouble with that first serve, though, Gary.
The last two matches were 6-3, 6-2 that Stark had before the final. Well, some days you just can't make a dollar, can you? You get some breaks, and then all of a sudden the other guy gets the breaks back. Parker was taken to... No, he was not taken to 3 sets at all.
No, he's really dominated his half of the drawer.
I was about to say one match, but I was looking at another fella. He's won in straight sets and fairly easily up to this final. The sun came out on center court here, or at least half of it. The big tree behind us throws a little shadow onto the near court. Al Parker of Georgia in the far court. We're tied at 4-all in games in the second set. Stark is really playing the net well now, isn't he?
Yeah, he's raised his level. His volleys are more crisp and has a little more confidence.
Now, Parker said, where did it go? Well, it's maybe not so much that something has left him, but that something has climbed into Jonathan Stark's game. Was a let. Serve was in. They called a let. So this will be a first serve. Took advantage of the let to try to uncork one, but had the fault. Waiting for the ball board to get set. It's long.
It's the Parker backhand again. It's hard to read it. You don't know which way he's going with it.
30-all. was a lead, yeah.
No.
Nice fall day here in Athens, Georgia.
That's a great return.
Yes.
He caught it really out early and just guided it down the line.
He couldn't quite lift his backhand enough to get it back over the net. 30-40. Parker trying to break here. That would be big. Then he would get a chance to serve for the match.
How's it led again?
Yes. And I heard that one, although that was a great return.
I think it was lucky for John that it was a lead.
I don't know, David. We may have better than 1,000 people here.
Well, I think so. I would say maybe 1,500 or so.
Good crowd on hand. Wanting to see Al Parker of Georgia defend his title.
Yep, that's it.
That's out. Well, Stark of Stanford played awfully well during that particular game, but Parker of Georgia was just a tad better. And he leads 5-4. He has a chance to serve out the match. We'll take this time out and we'll be back. Welcome back. Gary Glenn, David Benjamin. Finals of the Volvo Tennis Collegiate Championships. Al Parker of Georgia serving for the match.
Well,
and he's on his way with that one.
Yeah, I think Al knows what he has to do this game, and he's going to do it.
He won the first set 6-1. He's up 5-4 here. 5-4 and 15-love. Against the #1 rated player in the country, Jonathan Stark of Stanford. That one was long. Second serve. Well, this may not be Georgia Tech knocking off Virginia, but I guarantee you the Dog fans will love it here. If it happens. And it looks to be on the way now. 15-all, though. The first leg of the Collegiate Grand Slam, David.
That's right.
Nice serve. What a good return.
That's right.
Saw Parker clinch that left fist that time. He said, I'm just a couple of points away from this thing.
That's right. A couple of points from being the first player in history to defend his title. And one leg up on the Grand Slam. The next tournament's 2 weeks from now, the DuPont Clay Court Championships.
And more than likely to clinch the #1 rankings when they come back out. He's taking the net.
That's right.
Only 1 point away. Al Parker of Georgia wants to make collegiate tennis history, and he wants to do it on his home court.
Well, yeah, he won more national junior titles than anyone in history, and I think he's someone that likes to make history.
Well, he'll make it today if he can win this point. Not with that one.
A little tentative. I think he's going to be aggressive on this point, though, Gary. He's going to go for it. I wouldn't even be surprised to see him serving volley. Big serving, get up in that, maybe. Yeah, just trying to get up there.
Second serve. He needs this point to win it all. And that was it. He turns to the crowd. Al Parker of Georgia becomes the first player to ever win this title twice, and he does it twice in a row over the same man, Jonathan Stark of Stanford. Stark, the #1 rated player in the country in collegiate tennis, and Al Parker wins it 6-1, 6-4. We'll be back.
now by Al Parker. First of all, congratulations on defending your championship here against the same guy.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate it. It was a tough match. Jonathan didn't quite play his best today, but I felt like I played really well, and I'm very satisfied with the victory.
Yeah, he wasn't serving as well as he normally does. You said coming into the match, he's very aggressive and he's a very tough server. His serves didn't quite ever get to what they normally are, and he didn't really get aggressive till the end of the second set.
Yeah, well, his serve was giving him a lot of problems. He was double faulting a lot and just missing a lot of first serves. That was what was mainly hurting him. I was getting a look at a lot of second serves and getting to put the return down at his feet when he was coming in. But as far as being aggressive, I think it was tough for him because, you know, when he's not serving well, he doesn't really get to start off the point on the offensive as well as he'd like to. And on my serve, I was hitting the balls really deep from the baseline and not giving him a chance to really get into the net.
When he did come in early in the first set and then toward the end, it looked like you used the lob very effectively to keep him kind of on his heels, not let him come up to the net.
Yeah, actually at the beginning I was lobbing the ball really well and getting a lot of winners on the lob, but at the end I was actually a little tentative with it and was giving him a lot of overhead winners. He was he started playing a little better at the end and was pressing the ball deeper into the court and making me hit shorter lobs.
You've been bothered pretty much your entire career here with injuries, and Jonathan also at Stanford has been bothered. You both took some time off, but now you seem to be playing probably the best tennis that I think I've ever seen you playing.
Yeah, I had to take 2 months off during the summer and to heal a stress fracture I had at the end of last season, and also had a torn rotator cuff that had to heal. And this summer, after I took time off, I started back gradually and just trying to get stronger and really working on speed movement. We've been doing some speed movement drills on our team to try to increase our quickness, and I think it's really paying off for me. I'm getting the balls a lot faster and moving around the court a lot quicker.
Well, you couldn't have asked for a better way to start your senior season, defending your championship, first time ever in history. Congratulations.
Thanks a lot.
We'll take you to a break right now and come back, and we'll have some doubles action for you right after this.
As Gainesville College begins its second...
President Corporate Promotions of Volvo North America, big title, I have to look to get it all in. You guys have played a very integral part in collegiate tennis now for about the last 5 or 6 years.
Absolutely, Scott. We are essentially the umbrella sponsor of American college tennis, and that essentially means that Volvo Tennis Collegiate Series has about 30,000 girls, guys, student athletes competing in over 6 national championships, the NCAAs, and over 100 regional championships throughout the United States. So yes, it's a very complex and a very competitive form of American college athletics.
And you have taken over the standings and that kind of thing. You do all that for the College of America. How do you do that? How do you figure out who is the top player in the country?
Well, like the NCAA, ITCA, the ITCA, has the country divided in regions. Each region has a committee that reports their standings for their particular section, and that's fed back to the ITCA headquarters in Princeton. We do all this in a matter of a couple of days, to be very frank, and we're so happy that over 40 or 50 newspapers today require those rankings by fax. So we really have developed some media interest in American college tennis and where teams and players stand.
In today's match, you had Al Parker, who has been a 4.0 student throughout college. You have brought on a very big name in tennis now to go about and talk to different colleges and the teams to try to get the kids to stay in and not go pro so early, haven't you?
Absolutely. We often use Arthur Ashe as our spokesman, and our effort in the Volvo Tennis Collegiate Series is to try to get the competition so keen and so tough, to make college tennis for the girls and the guys so popular that they'll not want to leave school to go and play professional tennis. They're going to want to stay in school, get that degree first. And frankly, Scott, I think they're going to go out in the world better prepared. I think you see too often that kids leave school as freshmen or sophomores, and, you know, when they get out there, they find out they're all by themselves. Their parents aren't around to root for them. They don't have any camaraderie amongst the professional players, and it's very scary and very disappointing often.
Well, thank you very much for taking the time out. Another great tournament.
Okay, everybody, welcome back to the Volvo Tennis Collegiate Championships on the University of Georgia campus. Right now, we're just underway in the doubles. It matches up the #1 rated team of Jared Palmer and Jonathan Stark of Stanford against Brian Getko and David Lomicki out of Arizona State. Now, right now, it is Lomicki serving to the team of Palmer and Stark. Jonathan Stark, of course, just losing a straight set matchup to Al Parker of Georgia in the singles finals. Before we get deep into the doubles, I'd like to welcome a fellow that I saw won a couple of championships on these courts a few years ago, two-time NCAA singles champion, Michael Pernfors out of the University of Georgia. Michael, we appreciate you taking time out.
No problem, enjoying it.
You're coming off of an injury, I understand, or an operation?
Yeah, I had a surgery on my Achilles tendon in May of this year, and I'm just now starting to get back into practicing.
How's it feel?
It's getting better, but it's apparently it's real slow, and I just can't really go 100% yet, but it's coming along.
That's been a problem you've had a time or two in your pro career, having some inopportune injuries at inopportune times.
Yeah, I guess it's the first one that has been a major injury. The first time I had a knee operation in '88, which only took me out for about 4 weeks, so that wasn't really a problem. But this is getting close to being 6 months now, and it's bad because my ranking is going down, and just the way the competition goes, it's just going to be real tough to get back into it again.
Yeah, that'll probably be the hardest thing when you have to take some time off like that. It seems like what is it, you never stand still, you're either going forward or sliding back, right?
Yeah, I guess our season goes over the full 12 months, so if you can't really miss anything at any time. Normally if you can get hurt and it'd be when it's not in season, so you'll be fine, but you kind of have to be fit for 12 months if you're going to do well in the tennis rankings.
How does it look for you, Michael? You think you're going to be able to get back into the swing of things? Literally, you're swinging that racket out there.
Yeah, I think a lot of it's going to have to do with motivation to get back into it. I think that I feel like I want to get back into it, but I guess it's just going to be a question of how it goes in the beginning, because my ranking has dropped to about 160, 170, which means I'm going to have to start qualifying. But hopefully, if I can have the motivation there, I think that physically, I just have to stay in shape and not get another injury. I should be all right.
Must feel good, though, to have to come back here I should say have to come back, to be able to come back here to your home courts and get a little taste of the dogs and get a little taste of another dog winning here today.
Oh, I mean, I have a great time. I guess this is pretty much the first time that I've been back and been able to stay for a longer period because of my injury. Normally I come back here and I'll be here for maybe 2 or 3 days, but I've been able to be here, pretty much since the tennis team started practicing, and it's just been a great feeling, being back and feeling the team spirit and all that has to do with Georgia when it comes to going to football games and just, being around the school. Is a great situation.
What do you think of Al Parker? Pretty good player.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of worried about him in the beginning of the fall because he hadn't played that much this summer, and he seemed like he had a little bit of a motivation problem, but I guess everybody, including himself, pretty much knew that he needed to get a couple of tournaments under his belt, and I mean, he's good enough to win any tournament in the college circuit, so it wasn't really a surprise to anybody, I think, that he won. It was just, they just wanted to see him do it.
Different lifestyle, though, on the professional ranks, isn't it?
It's different. It's a lot different. I guess just the fact that you play for 12 months straight, you don't really have any time off, and it's so much more individual on the pro tour. Even though I have a good situation when having a lot of Swedish players on the tour, so we hang together. But it's a lot of traveling, and you have tournaments every week, and it's a different situation out there.
You ever gonna come back to school? Finish up?
Well, I really haven't thought about it. If I went back, I know I'd go here.
Well, good luck in whatever you do, Michael.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
We appreciate you coming by. Thank you very much. Michael Pernfors, University of Georgia, great tennis player, two-time NCAA champion. Right now, we're in the doubles, and it is Lomacki and Gitko of Arizona State going against the #1 rated doubles team, Jared Palmer and Jonathan Stark of Stanford. We're still in the first game of the first set. And you have to wonder, as I'm joined now by my colleague Scott Storch, and you have to wonder, Scott, how much Jonathan Stark has got left.
Well, you know that Stark and Palmer are the premier doubles right now in the country. They Gitko and Lomacki are really just excited to be here. They were placed down farther. They weren't seated. But Stark has to be a little bit disappointed, obviously. He would have been the first player to come in here and win both the singles and the doubles if he had been able to beat Al Parker in the first match.
In fact, I don't think anybody has any player that's ever qualified for singles and doubles has ever won either one.
No, I think you're right. A couple players have had a chance, but both have lost both matches.
Well, Brian Getko and David Lomicki hold service the first game of the doubles against the #1 rated team of Jared Palmer and Jonathan Stark. Arizona State up 1-0. We'll be back. Back, everyone. Special event here this evening on WNGM TV 34, the Volvo Tennis Collegiate Championships. We're into the doubles match now. The team of Jared Palmer and Jonathan Stark from Stanford, the #1 rated doubles team in the country. And Brian Getko and David Lomicki in the near court from Arizona State, trying to knock off #1. That is Jared Palmer serving. He is the dark gentleman. Stark is the blonde from Stanford. Over here, Brian Getko has on the hat, and Lomicki is blonde as well. 30 love in favor of the team from Stanford. Palmer and Stark are the #1 seeds, as well as being the #1 rated doubles team in the country. Getko and Lomicki from Arizona State were placed in the seeds alphabetically, but were not seeded in the top 4. They rate number 6 in the country, by the way, Scott, in the latest rankings from the Volvo Tennis Collegiate Rankings people.
Well, to get here, they had to beat O'Brien and Yee in the semifinals. That was a long match, 4-6, 7-6, 7-5. They had to come back. They did a nice job coming back and beating O'Brien and Yee, who were the 2nd seed doubles in the tournament.
A 3-setter. Stanford holds serve. Now Getko will serve for Arizona State. So Jonathan Stark, who rested about a half an hour, is now back out on the courts after losing to Georgia's Al Parker, the same man he lost to last year in this tournament.
I don't think the fact that he had to go out and play a singles match is really going to have that much effect, because the match was not that long. A lot of the points were very short. He didn't have to do a lot of running, and he did get about a half an hour in between matches to catch his breath. I don't think that that'll be what'll hurt him. What will be interesting to see is how he bounces back from the disappointing play that he had in the first match.
15-all is where we stand here in the doubles final. And 2, you know, sometimes you can rely on your partner, Scott, to take up some of the slack in doubles if you are just a little bit tired. That one was long.
Stark is Palmer is mirrors Stark a lot. They're both very aggressive and both very, very powerful serves, as you saw in the second game.
And you know something? All of these players in the finals are right-handed. So they don't have to worry about any kind of a left-handed spin off of the ball. 30-15. Again, Getko is the man with the hat on. Lomicki is his partner. Jared Palmer has dark hair across the way from Stanford. Jonathan Stark is the blonde. Stark losing to Georgia's Al Parker in straight sets in the singles final. And here he is just a few minutes later playing doubles. All. Now the Stanford doubles team would, of course, love to be able to get the win for their own sake and also for Stark. Stark would have a little piece of tennis history, too. If he were to win, he would be the first man to ever appear in the finals of singles and doubles to win one of those titles.
One thing Stark did say after the singles matches was that he was happy that he would not have to face Al Parker again in this tournament, being that Parker is a senior.
That's right, and he's only a sophomore.
Beaten him twice.
Mm-hmm. Stark's only a sophomore. The shadow's getting a little long here, but it's been a beautiful day. Absolutely wonderful. Humidity has been low, the temperature has been mild. lot of blue sky here in Georgia. But Getco and Lomacki from Arizona State trying to knock off number one. We had a lot of number ones get beat this weekend, didn't we?
It hasn't been a good weekend to be number one.
He just mishit that one. And we've gone to deuce. Stark was missing a good bit on his serve in the singles match, but here it's really too early to see any trends. Nice lob. And he responds, Getco does, with an even longer lob, and this one's out of bounds. Advantage goes to Stanford. Arizona State team trying to keep from getting broken. Notice Lomacki crouching down while Getco serves. It's very low. Serves right over his back.
That's having confidence in your teammate. You also see him giving signs as to which way he's going to move.
Back to deuce.
Getco and Lomacki have struggled on their serves. They've had long games when they've been serving, and granted it's only the third game of the match.
Long advantage goes back to Stanford. Games are 1-all first set. Stanford trying to break. Arizona State trying to hold. Little wind kicking up here. Storch making an excellent grab. Prevent all our paraphernalia from flying over to back down there to where Vince Dooley was sitting in the singles match. That one was out of there. Should be back to deuce. Crowd, as you might imagine, has thinned out somewhat, although a substantial number of people have stuck around here to see just the good tennis. Not necessarily the Georgia guy playing, but just some tennis.
Well, Athens has always supported tennis. They have held the national championships many, many years until last year when it went out to Indian Wells. This year it's coming back, though.
Mm-hmm. First came here in 1972, Scott. I was about to be graduated, or maybe I was already graduated at that time, high school senior.
It's too long ago to think.
I know. Roscoe Tanner and Gottfried and all that crew were here as collegiates. That one's out. Advantage goes back to Arizona State. Number 6 trying to knock off number 1 if you're keeping up with the rankings here. Number 1's already fallen in singles. So Georgia's Al Parker.
That probably means that Al Parker will move into that top spot as well.
More than likely. David Benjamin said it was a pretty complicated system of rankings. And Arizona State holds serve. 2-1. We're back on serve. So Palmer and Stark will be serving to the Arizona State duo. Of course, Stanford has been a power in collegiate tennis for many, many years now, especially since the inauguration of the team format. Coach Dick Gould and the Cardinal have dominated that tournament.
You really have to think back to when has Dick Gould not been in a finals and singles, doubles, teams. The last couple years since Georgia won the national championship back in '87, Stanford has pretty much dominated since then. They've got another good team this year. Perennial power.
Well, coming into this tournament, Scott, they had the #1 rated singles player and the #1 rated doubles team. That's saying something right there.
And Dick Gould was just named, if I'm not mistaken, the NCAA Coach of the Year, or Decade.
Coach of the Decade, yeah.
Last year.
We'd like to take this opportunity to thank Coach David Benjamin of Princeton for dropping by with us during the singles. Scott, of course, is with us here in the doubles now, and he's my partner on Tuesday night football. I like to think of it that way. Tuesday night football, high school football. Well, he just kind of slugged that one out.
It's got to be...
Looked like Jose Canseco there.
It's got to be pleasing for Stark. He was able to get his first serve in, something he did not do very often in the singles match.
That's the kind of play you like to see in doubles, Scott. You know, that really fast and furious pace at the net. That's why, you know, some people really like to watch doubles as much or more than they like to watch singles. Singles, of course, is the glamour event, but doubles is many times much more action.
It's definitely the speed and power event.
Got a little bounce there. Oh, great comeback by Jared Palmer. Nice cross court off the backhand. We will be in Hall County Friday night to bring you next Tuesday night's game. The undefeated West Hall Spartans will be trying to close out a perfect season against the Jackson County Panthers. That's Tuesday at 7 p.m.
Arizona State taking aim at their coach on that one. Kid go just a little bit wide with his return.
Stark just has had trouble today finding the range, hasn't he? He netted a whole lot of serves.
Just a little bit off.
That was a double fault. Other than the fact that Jonathan Stark has already played a match today, Scott, though the doubles match should be fairly even. Both of the players, I mean, and none of these players are from Georgia, both the teams. So the courts are probably equally as familiar by this time or equally as strange to each of them. Stark, another double fault, just can't find the range. He'll try to get back his form, his serve. He got that one.
I don't have the final stats from the singles match, but he must have double faulted about 10 or 11 times, which is very, very rare for him because he is such a good server. That is what he is known for, is his serve and then his aggressive play. And if he can't get his serve in, that kind of takes away from the rest of his play.
Palmer just a little long with that return. But when the action gets like that at the net, you're just trying to sometimes just to get a racket on the ball. And on the deuce, the advantage now goes back to Jonathan Stark. Stanford pulls even and games in the first set 2-all. This will be Lomicki serving now for Arizona State. Palmer can't get that one over the net. Now they're trying to find the ball. So the ball girl at the side of the court searches for it, finds one, finds two. Now they'll have all three of them. Lomacki, David Lomacki of Arizona State is serving. Now Stark comes up to the net on the second serve. And he just got that one by Getko. He just missed it. Stanford has been known to play some pretty good doubles over the years, Scott. Lomacki to serve to Stark. Nice shot. Perfect placement, good movement by Jared Palmer.
And that's good doubles play there. Hitting down the alley.
And that's long. Break point here. Lomacki again will be serving to Stark. A fault, first serve. Double fault on the break point. Boy, that's tough if you're an Arizona State fan. Stanford goes up a break in the first set. They lead 3-2. We'll be back.
Please make that call right now.
Skins and pine which was fine. Used to be a little bit more lives. Well, he's got his wings. All he does is sings with pride. Rubbing in my brand new wings together side to side. I got a blue one time.
Hello, I'm Lori Ann Crook.
I'm Charlie Chase. Next weekend with Crook and Chase, singer Natalie Cole will tell us all about her big break.
One of this year's hottest actors, Matthew Modine, will tell us what it took to get to the top and will profile Susan Sarandon.
It's all happening next weekend with Crook and Chase.
Don't miss a minute of it.
Watch Crook and Chase Saturdays at 10 p.m. on TV 34.
I remember in 9th grade, before I got my first part, there was the time I didn't make the school play. And to me, the world had ended. So I came home after school and was crying in my room for at least a couple of hours when my dad came in. And there we sat, at least until midnight, with me sobbing and my dad just listening to me telling things like how I read over that final list of names on the drama room door at least 20 times while praying I'd see Victoria Stewart among the other names that had made it. And you know, he didn't tell me some story about how he didn't make the football team in junior high or how there would be other things to look forward to. In fact, he really didn't try to tell me anything. I just remember he listened. He really listened to me.
If you're listening to your teenagers, now you're talking. From the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Jared Palmer and Jonathan Stark, the #1 rated doubles team in the country, to serve to Brian Getko and David Lomacki, rated number 6 in the latest intercollegiate tennis rankings. And they are in the finals of this, the first leg of the Collegiate Grand Slam. And that's Jared Palmer to serve to Lomacki. There you see a little bit of the power of John Stark. Just kind of reached out and flicked that racket down and with a pretty good bit of power just blew it by Getko.
Stanford seems to want to take control of this one, Scott.
Well, both times Palmer's had serve, he has just breezed through and held serve. Just 5 points in the first one, and now up 30-11 this one.
That one was long, his second serve. Double fault.
Palmer's also a little bit quicker player than Stark. Stark was taking his time, maybe conserving energy in the first match, and then his first chance at serving in this match. Palmer gets right up there and he comes right at you.
.40-15. Game point. Stanford just a little bit away from going up 4-2. .40-30.
Gary, although this is the second consecutive year that Stark and Palmer have been in the finals of this, Stanford has had 3 doubles teams in the finals out of the 6 years of the Volvo doubles.
That one was out. Getco almost painted the line, but was just about 6 to 8 inches out of bounds. Stanford goes up 4-2. And that would be tough to be in this finals of both of this, in both singles and doubles, 2 years in a row and not win at least one of them, Scott. Which would be the case if Jonathan Stark and his partner lose this one.
Well, last year they had the unenviable task of facing Doug Eisenman and Matt Wissini and Cal Berkeley.
Who won the Grand Slam, right? Didn't they win them all last year?
Yes, they did.
Nice play. Whoops. Well, that Canseco McGuire at bat that time. That one was out of the park. Maybe foul, though. These guys, the equipment is so good, the rackets are so good, and they're so skilled that when they do miss hit one, it goes a long way, doesn't it? Getco serving to Stark. That was long. Double fault.
I mentioned before that there have been, this is the 3rd time that Stanford had had doubles. The last time, before last year, was '87. Jeff Tarango, name I'm sure you recognize, and David Wheaton. They did not get to play, though, because the game was rained, or the match was rained out. They were supposed to face Brett Garnett, Ashley Roney from Southwest Louisiana that year.
No danger of rain today. What a nice day. Good get by Palmer. Forced him into making that shot long.
There's where your doubles partner can help you. If the ball gets by you, Palmer, nice job getting behind. Return the ball and win the point.
Stanford trying to put a stranglehold on this one early. Out. Another break point for the Cardinal. Also like to express our appreciation to the Intercollegiate Tennis Coaches Association. I have trouble with that term. Intercollegiate Tennis Coaches Association.
ITCA.
ITCA. There you go. I can say that. ITCA. As well as Volvo and all the people associated with the tournament for letting us do it. We appreciate it. And all the tennis fans around Northeast Georgia appreciate it too. Some national caliber tennis right here on WNGM TV 34. Best players in the country in the collegiate ranks, and you can see them right here. It was a very sweet championship for Al Parker of Georgia, winning the singles, too. Second year in a row he's done it.
First player to do that.
Ever. And Arizona State's battled back to deuce. Getko is now serving to Palmer. Palmer nets it. Just push the forehand right into the net, Scott. Advantage, Arizona State. And a nice comeback from break point, and Palmer knows it. Swings his racket in disgust. Arizona State pulls it to within 4-3. We'll be back.
Times are changing, and Spanky's is no exception. The place you've loved for over a year has now remodeled just for you, where young and old alike can enjoy our friendly atmosphere and personal service. Our new lunch menu is the latest in a tradition of famous dining experiences, and our servers are the friendliest anywhere. So, bring your family to the new Spanky's, located in Beechwood Shopping Center, and make your gang a part of our gang.